Yay! Today we will begin working on our summative writing piece for the unit. It is our short story. But as we know, we can't just jump into a short story, otherwise things get crazy and Zlate becomes a cowboy and he goes back in time to destroy the dinosaurs. So we want to avoid that. And so we'll have a lot of process with the pre-writing of our short story. You will have in your Google inbox a document called Short Story in Class Process Checklist. Check for that. It should show up today. Go ahead and make a copy of that. And of course, get rid of the copy business. Put your name. Make sure you drag that into your Unit 1 folder within the folder in your Unit 1 folder, which is called Unit 1 Summative Short Story, your name. If you don't have that yet, go ahead and create that folder. Because we'll have a number of documents in the process of writing our summative piece, and that way they're all in there, and it'll be like process 1, process 2, etc., checklist planning, and at the end we'll finally see one called final draft, and that's the one we'll take and put in our portfolio when we're all done and ready to share and publish. Take your time with this. Some of it is detailed. And what you do want to think about is a lot of this information isn't necessarily for your short story. It is for you, because if you don't understand your characters and the reason they do things and why they make decisions and where they think they're going in terms of a character, it won't come out as being believable in your narrative. So if you really understand what's going on in your world, in the setting, in the mind of your protagonist and your other characters, then that'll show up very convincingly when you create your short story. So it can't just be like, oh, there's a guy named Bob, and not really know anything about Bob. You need to know everything about Bob. So there's a number of items on our checklist, but you need to explain these. So it won't just be like a yes or no or maybe or etc., etc. Fill in the information it's asking for, and do be very, very careful with the sort of last questions, which actually, please explain why you've chosen this, or please explain why this will happen. And there's a lot of stuff dealing with plot and conflict and development of plot and why people are going here and who is going there. We got some very classic terms which we do know, and pay attention to the links, because if you're not sure about these, there's a couple of little notes on the side. Explains what a protagonist is. A couple of nice little video clips which explain if we need to see again. Of course, all this should be in your notes, like point of view and narrative. You can quickly click on a couple of these videos. Some are very nice. There's a lot of information about characterization. Like we said, you know, whether or not the personal detailed interest of your main character show up in your story, it completely depends on what your conflict is. But it's more important that you understand this individual and why they do the things they do. Some of this will take a little while. We will put a due date for this on our homework and assessment page. And you can see at the end there's a 200-word gist statement. And of course the gist statement, we know what that means because of our monkey's paw gist statement, where we sort of summarize in a much briefer, sort of a watered down, to the point version of what the larger story will be like. And our short stories won't be incredibly long, maybe a couple pages. So take a couple of paragraphs and just quickly tell us what's going on. We should know a lot about your main character from here, but you can go ahead and put this in some sort of actual coherent flow of ideas pattern in paragraph form. And wish us luck with the tournament, because that's why I'm not in class. PSI is hosting the CISA High School Boys Football Tournament, of which we will do very well.